Your router should be cutting clean and smooth, not burning edges, not chipping out wood, or finding you every inch of the way. But most beginners make these same mistakes that cause those exact problems. Let's fix that. If your router is leaving burn marks, chewing up the edges of wood, or simply feels out of control, you're not alone. The router is a powerful tool and most beginners use it incorrectly. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the most common mistakes that beginners make and how to fix them. So let's start this thing off step by step, going through each one of them, starting with the most common issue. One of the most common mistakes beginners can make is moving the router in the wrong direction. So for handheld routers, you always want to move against the rotation of the bit. Most bits spin clockwise, which means when you're routing the outside edge of a board, you should move the router from left to right, like you read a book. If you go the other way, which is called a climb cut, the router can grab the wood and take off on you fast. The difference is clear. When you move against the rotation, the cut is smooth and controlled. If you go the wrong way, it chatters, tears out the edge, and can ruin your workpiece, or worse, lead to injury. Take your time and build a good habit of checking your direction before making any cut. This one change or one check can make a very big difference. Another big one that can happen is when you try to remove too much material in one pass. Now it seems like it would be a time saver, and it might be. However, it's kind of a setup for a disaster. If you decide to go and make one deep pass, here are a few things that can happen. First, you're almost guaranteed to burn the wood. Second, you can get bit chatter and or some movement, extra movement in the router. The motor can get overwhelmed and start to heat up, or you could simply just lose control. The fix is simple. Take multiple shallow passes. Start with no more than an 1/8 inch depth, especially if you're working with hardwoods. You'll get a smoother edge, your router will last longer, and honestly, it just will be a safer and more enjoyable experience for you. And just remember, you can always remove more, but you can't put it back. Mistake number 3 is not giving your router base enough support. If you've ever been in the middle of a cut and the base was allowed to tip and you got an uneven edge, that's probably because you just didn't give it enough support. When you're working with narrow boards or on the corners of the board, it's hard to give it enough support, especially with these little trim routers where their base is really small. Here's 3 things that you can do. First is to use a wider base plate if your router supports one, or a larger router with a larger base plate. Second, you can clamp on a scrap board next to your workpiece to give the router more surface area to ride on. And third, intentionally focus on keeping the router base fully in contact with the surface. You can only do this if you slow down and take your time. Either way, you'll get more control, and that means cleaner, straighter edges. Mistake number 4 is using the wrong bit for the job. Not all bits are created equally, and so if you use the wrong one, it can give you poor results. Here are some common issues around this. First is using a dull, dirty, or cheap bit. And I just did a video a few weeks ago on showing you how to clean router bits and to sharpen those, so I'll leave a link above and below in the notes section. Number 2, using a large bit and a small router is not a good idea as well. Make sure that the bit matches the router you're using. And number 3, using the wrong type of bit for the cut. Say you're cutting a deep hole. You'll struggle if you grab a standard straight cutter with 2 flutes or cutting surfaces. However, a spiral upcut bit would be a better choice because it lifts out the shavings more efficiently. Plus, it's less stress on the router and it gives you a much cleaner result. Bottom line, make sure your router bits are sharp and clean, that they're appropriate for the material in which you're trying to cut, and they're specifically designed for the task in which is at hand. Also remember that not all router bits, especially the large ones, are designed to be in a handheld router, but they're designed to be in a router table. If you have any questions about that, just drop me a comment below and I'd be more than happy to help you out. Mistake number 5 is not securing your workpiece. Routers react to resistance, so if your workpiece slips or moves in any way, shape, or form, you will lose accuracy fast. So always clamp your workpiece securely, even for small cuts. Take the time to make sure nothing can move. For most jobs though, I use router mats like you see in this video. They're non-slip pads that hold the board in place without the need for clamps. That means you don't have to work around them or worry about knocking into anything mid-cut. You can find these at most woodworking stores and they're worth every penny. Mistake number 6 is routing in the wrong order. This one may be a little bit more advanced, but it really does matter. If you're routing all 4 edges of a board, always route the end grain first. Then do the long edges. That way any tear out on the end grain gets cleaned up when you route the sides. It's a small habit that leads to cleaner, more professional looking work. And finally, mistake number 7 is ignoring the feed rate and the sound of the motor. This one kind of comes with practice. So for instance, if you're removing too much material and your feed rate is too fast, you will hear that. You will hear bit chatter, you can see it, and you can audibly hear the router bit and the motor making a different pitch. If you're moving too slow, the motor might sound fine, but you may be leaving some burn marks behind. So shoot for something in between all of that. Just a steady feed rate. Let the router do the work. And when it does, you'll hear it make a specific sound. And attune your ear to that and listen for that as you're beginning to experience and learn more in woodworking. I'd like to close out by looking back at what you learned in this lesson through the lens this time of bit chatter, which we talked about. Again, bit chatter is when the bit skips or vibrates or jumps down the workpiece. There are 5 main reasons why bit chatter happens, and they tie directly back into everything you learned here today, plus there's an extra takeaway for you. The first one is that you may be trying to take too much material off in one pass. And I know you've heard this before a few times already in this course, but it is a very common mistake that can fix a multitude of issues. As before, to fix this, simply reduce the amount of material you take off with each pass. Number 2, you may have the bit out too far in the collet. This could allow the bit to flex under heavy load, which then could cause the bit to chatter. This too has an easy fix. Simply loosen the collet, slide the bit further down, and tighten the collet back up. Number 3 is because of a dull bit. Dull bits have a very hard time cutting, which means that they not only build up heat, but they can chatter. Dull bits have an easy fix as well, and now you know how. Number 4, bit chatter can be caused by too much dust or chips in the groove or hole you're cutting. This really comes into play when you're using straight cutters for deep dados and grooves. With the regular straight cutter, sometimes the bit has a hard time removing the waste material from out of the trench, which then causes the bit to chatter because it's not only cutting new chips, but it's also trying to deal with the old ones as well. That's why for deep cuts, using an upcut spiral bit will outperform the standard bit simply because the spiral bit is designed to better lift the material out of the trench. If this is your issue, the fix could be as easy as switching to a spiral bit or using some good dust collection. And number 5, your routing direction could be wrong. Climb cuts can often lead to bit chatter, as we discussed, especially if you're taking a large amount off with each pass. So the fix would be to simply change your routing direction. Well, that's it for today's video. If you learned something, please drop me a comment below. Let me know one thing that you picked out in today's lesson. So if you made it to the end of this video and you're looking to learn even more about handheld routers, I will offer you a 50% discount on my full handheld routers course. It's over 3 hours long. It takes this video and amplifies it that much more. All you have to do to get that 50% discount is email me at josh@traininghandsacademy.com. Thank you for watching. Go get that discount code and I'll see you in our community.